Hello students. Today again we are with our paper environmental pollution analysis. In this paper we are discussing about land pollution analysis. So again we are with the same unit, land pollution analysis. In this unit, in the last session we have discussed about many points like how to control land pollution, factors affecting land pollution, and we have discussed about land or soil chemistry and environmental land or soil chemistry. So today again we will start with land or soil chemistry. Land or soil chemistry is the branch of soil science that deals with the chemical composition, chemical properties, and chemical reactions of soils. Means it's mainly deals with chemical composition, chemical properties, and chemical reactions of soils. Soils are heterogeneous mixtures of air, water, inorganic and organic solids, and microorganisms, both plant and animal in nature. No two soils are exactly alike. Soil reactions and processes occur over a wide range of spatial and temporal scales. So this way we can say soil chemistry is a branch of science, soil science, that deals with chemical composition and chemical properties and chemical reactions of soils. And soils are mixtures of air, water, inorganic and organic solids, and microorganisms. Soil chemistry is concerned with the chemical reactions and processes involving these phases. For example, carbon dioxide in the air combined with water acts to weather the inorganic solid phase. Means carbon dioxide in air combined with water acts to weather the inorganic solid phase. Weather is inorganic solid phase and air combined with that factor. Chemical reactions between the soil solids and the soil solution influence both plant growth and water quality. Soil chemistry traditionally focused on the chemical reactions in soils that affect plant growth and plant nutrition. However, beginning in the 1970s and certainly in the 1990s, concern increased about metals or metalloids, nutrients, particularly nitrogen and phosphorus, and organic contaminants in soil and their impact on water quality and plant, animal and human health. એટલે કે સ્ટાર્ટિંગમાં આપણે જે કહીએ કે 1970થી એ શરૂઆત થઈ, ત્યારબાદ 1990sમાં અચાનકથી એમાં કન્સર્ન ઇન્ક્રીઝડ, એના વિશેનો સ્ટડી એ વધ્યો about metals, nutrients, organic contaminants in soil and their impact on water quality and plant, animal and human health. While mainly it was focusing only on chemical reactions in soil and affect plant growth, plant nutrition. We now refer to the field as environmental soil chemistry, which is the study of chemical reactions, processes between soils and environmentally important plant nutrients. We now refer to the field as environmental soil chemistry, which is the study of chemical reactions, processes between soils and environmentally important plant nutrients, radionuclides, metals, metalloids and organic chemicals. A knowledge of environmental soil chemistry is fundamental in predicting the fate of contaminants in the surface and subsurface environments. જ્યારે આપણે એન્વાયરમેન્ટલ સોઇલ કેમિસ્ટ્રીની વાત કરતા હોય તો ઇટ ઇઝ ડીલિંગ વિથ the reactions and processes between soils and environmentally important plant nutrients, radionuclides, metals and organic chemicals. A knowledge of environmental soil chemistry is fundamental in predicting the fate of contaminants in the surface and subsurface environments. એટલે કયા કયા કન્ટામિનન્ટ્સ એ સરફેસ ને સબસર્ફેસ એન્વાયરમેન્ટમાં છે તેનું પ્રોડિક્શન એ એન્વાયરમેન્ટલ સોઇલ કેમિસ્ટ્રી દ્વારા એનું ફંડામેન્ટ છે અને એનાથી મળે છે. Now we come to the point soil or land formation. This is very important in soil chemistry, soil or land formation. How soil or land is formed. Soil develops through a series of changes. The starting point is weathering of freshly accumulated parent material. Primitive microbes feed on simple compounds, nutrients released by weathering and produce acids which contributes to weathering. They also leave behind organic residues. The whole process of soil formation involves two stages. Number A, weathering, and B, soil development or pedogenesis. એટલે કે સોઇલ ફોર્મેશનની પ્રક્રિયા મુખ્યત્વે બે સ્ટેજીસના અંદર એ થાય છે, આપણે કહી શકાય વેધરિંગ અથવા તો સોઇલ ડેવલપમેન્ટ ઓર પેડોજેનેસિસ. Weathering. First of all, we'll discuss about weathering. Weathering process involves the breakdown of bigger rocks into fine, smaller mineral particles and may be physical as well as chemical. Weathering પ્રોસેસમાં મોટા જે રોક્સ હોય એનું ફાઇન સ્મોલર પાર્ટિકલ્સના અંદર બ્રેકડાઉન થાય અને આવી પ્રોસેસ એ ફિઝિકલ હોઈ શકે છે, કેમિકલ પણ હોઈ શકે છે. ફિઝિકલ weathering includes the following processes. Number 1, wetting, drying. Number 2, heating, cooling. Number 3, freezing. Number 4, glaciation. Number 5, solution. And number 6, sandblast. These all are weathering, physical weathering. Chemical weathering includes hydration, hydrolysis, carbonation, redox process, and chelatation, etc. So this way, these all are chemical weathering. Hydration, hydrolysis, carbonation, redox process means oxidation reduction process, and chelatation, etc. Now we come to the point B, soil development or pedogenesis. It is the modification of mineral matter through interaction between biological, topological and climatic effects, which deals to the development of a number of layers, horizons of a soil known as soil profile. So, this way soil development or pedogenesis is the modification of mineral matter through interaction between biological, topological and climatic effects, which deals to the development of a number of layers, horizons of a soil known as soil profile. Factors of soil formation. So this way we have discussed about soil formation by two ways, weathering and by pedogenesis. And now we are going to discuss about factors of soil formation. Soil formation is influenced by at least 5 classic factors that are intervened in the evolution of a soil. They are parent material, climate, topography, relief, organisms and time. Mainly these 5 factors. Soil formation is influenced by these 5 factors. When recorded to climate, relief, organisms, parent material and time, they form the acronym CROPT. So this way there are mainly 5 factors of influencing soil. We are going to discuss about first factor, number 1, parent material. The mineral material from which a soil forms is called parent material. જેમાંથી સોઇલ બને અને પેરેન્ટ મટીરિયલ કહેવાય એ મિનરલને. રોક, whether its origin is igneous, sedimentary or rock, whether its origin is igneous, sedimentary or metamorphic, is the source of all soil mineral materials and the origin of all plant nutrients, with the exceptions of nitrogen, hydrogen and carbon. As the parent material is chemically and physically weathered, transported, deposited and precipitated, it is transformed into a soil. એટલે કે પેરેન્ટ મટીરિયલમાં ફિઝિકલ કેમિકલ ચેન્જીસ આવ્યા હોય, ટ્રાન્સપોર્ટ થઈ હોય, ટ્રાન્સપોર્ટેડ બાય rivers, glaciers, or we can say fast winds and many more factors of transporting, and then deposited and precipitated, it is transformed into a soil. Typical soil parent material. Typical soil parent mineral materials are quartz, SiO2, calcite, CaCO3, feldspar, KAlSi3O8, mica, or we can say biotite, KMgFe3, AlSi3O10OH twice. These are parent mineral materials: quartz, calcite, feldspar and mica. Parent materials are classified according to how they came to be deposited. Residual materials are mineral materials that have weathered in place from primary bedrock. Transported minerals are those that have been deposited by water, wind, ice or gravity. Cumulose material is organic matter that has grown and accumulates in place. So this way we can say about parent materials, residual materials, transported materials or cumulose materials. Second factor, climate. The principal climatic variables influencing soil formation are effective precipitation. As example, precipitation minus evapotranspiration. And temperature, both of which affects the rate of chemical, physical and biological processes. Temperature and moisture both influence the organic content of soil through their effects on the balance between primary production and decomposition. Temperature and moisture both influence the organic matter content of soil. ટેમ્પરેચર અને મોઇશ્ચર બંને જે ઓર્ગેનિક મેટર કન્ટેન્ટ છે સોઇલનું એને ઇન્ફ્લુઅન્સ કરે છે. The colder or drier the climate, the lesser atmospheric carbon is fixed as organic matter. જેટલું વાતાવરણ ઠંડુ હોય એટલું એટમોસ્ફેરિક કાર્બન હોય એ ઓર્ગેનિક મેટર તરીકે ઓછો ફિક્સ થાય. while the lesser organic matter is decomposed. અને એટલી ઓછી organic matter હોય decompose થાય. The colder or drier the climate, the lesser atmospheric carbon is fixed as organic matter, while the lesser organic matter is decomposed. So this way we can say influence of climatic variables. Now we discuss the third factor of soil formation, topography. Topography is the study of forms and features of land surfaces. Topography એ ડિફરન્ટ ફોર્મ્સ અને ફીચર્સ હોય જમીનના એનો સ્ટડી છે. The topography of an area could refer to the surface forms. The topography of an area could refer to the surface forms and features themselves or a description. Topography of an area could refer to the surface forms and features themselves or a description. The topography or relief is characterized by the inclination, slope, elevation, and orientation of the terrain. Topography determines the rate of precipitation or runoff. The topography determines the rate of precipitation or runoff and rate of formation of erosion of the surface soil profile. The topographical setting may either hasten or retard the work of climate forces. એટલે ટોપોગ્રાફિકલ સેટિંગ્સ જે હોય ક્યાં તો વધારે અથવા ઘટાડે ક્લાઇમેટ ફોર્સિસના વર્કને. So this way we have discussed about topography. Before that we have discussed about climate. Now we are going to discuss about organisms. Each soil has a unique combination of microbial, plant, animal, and human influences acting upon it. Microorganisms are particularly influential in the mineral transformations critical to the soil forming process. Additionally, some bacteria can fix atmospheric nitrogen and some fungi are efficient at extracting deep soil phosphorus and increasing soil carbon levels in the form of glomalin. In organisms, we were discussing about additionally some bacteria can fix atmospheric nitrogen and some fungi are efficient at extracting deep soil formation. I am repeating the sentence. Additionally, some bacteria can fix atmospheric nitrogen and some fungi are efficient at extracting deep soil phosphorus and increasing soil carbon level in the form of glomalin. Plant holds soil against erosion and accumulated plant material build soil humus levels. As we all know, plant holds soil against erosion and accumulated plant material build soil humus levels. Plant root exudation supports microbial activity. Animals serves to decompose plant materials and mix soil through bioturbidation. Soil is the most abundant Soil is the most abundant ecosystem on the earth. But the vast majority of organisms in the soil are microbes. Great many of which have not been described. Soil is the most abundant ecosystem on the earth, but the vast majority of organisms in soil are microbes, a great many of which have not been described. This may be a population limit of around 1 billion cells per gram of soil. There may be a population limit of around 1 billion cells per gram of soil, but estimates of the number of species vary widely from 50,000 per gram to over a million per gram of soil. There may be a population limit of around 1 billion cells per gram of soil, but estimates of the number of species vary widely from 50,000 per gram to over a million per gram of soil. The total number of organisms and species can vary widely according to soil type, location and depth. The total number of organisms and species can vary widely according to soil type, location and depth. So this way we have discussed about this point, microorganisms or organisms. Now we are going to discuss about our factor number 5, time. Time is a factor in the interactions of all the above. While a mixture of sand, silt, and clay constitute the structure of a soil, and the aggregation of those components produce beds, the development of a distinct B horizon marks the development of a soil or pedogenesis. With time, soils will evolve. With time, soil will evolve features that depend on the interplay of the prior listed soil forming factors. પહેલા બતાવવામાં આવેલા ફેક્ટર્સ જે હોય એના ઉપર ડિપેન્ડ કરે છે. It takes decades to several thousand years for a soil to develop a profile. That time period depends strongly on climate, parent material, relief, and biotic activity. જે ટાઈમ પીરિયડ છે ક્લાઇમેટ, પેરેન્ટ મટીરિયલ, પાયાનું મૂળ મટીરિયલ હોય એ, રિલીફ અને બાયોટિક એક્ટિવિટી. For example, recently deposited material from a flood exhibits to soil. For example, recently deposited material from a flood exhibited no soil development. For example, recently deposited material from a flood exhibits no soil development, as there has not been enough time for the material to form a structure that further defines soil. The original soil surface is buried and the formation process must begin anew of this deposit. So this way we have discussed all the points of this unit, means factors of soil formation. In that we have discussed the first point, parent material. Then we have discussed about number 2, climate. Number 3, relief. The first point we have discussed was parent material. Second point we have discussed was climate. Third point, relief. Point number 5, So this way we have discussed all the points, all the factors of soil formation, influencing factors of soil formation. We have started this session today with soil chemistry or land chemistry. Mainly it is deals with reaction, chemical reactions. And in this unit we have also discussed about environmental soil or land. So here we are concluding our lecture. We have discussed many things. In earlier session we have discussed many points. Today in 17 slides so this way we have discussed all the factors, weathering, climate, so today we are concluding our lecture here. In the earlier session we have discussed about the causes of soil pollution or land pollution, and then so here we are concluding our lecture, and in the next lecture we will discuss the next point. But for soil chemistry it is very important to discuss about soil formation and soil formation processes. So this is very interesting. Today we have discussed about soil chemistry, land chemistry, it deals with which things, and then we have discussed two important processes, weathering processes and soil formation processes. We have discussed both the process in detail, and then we have discussed about factor affecting soil formations. In that we have discussed 5 factors: parent material, then we have discussed about climate, then we have discussed about time, and then we have discussed about relief, and then we have discussed about parent material, climate, time, temperature, and relief. So this way we have discussed all the points of this unit or this topic, and in the next session we will discuss about uh, different types of soil or land and many more points. So today's lecture is also important. You may have question from this: factors of land formation or soil formation. In the next session we will discuss about more points, types of soil and many things. So here we are concluding our lecture. Thank you all. Thank you so much.